Okay, let's complete our homework prep for Unit 3, Day 4. Take a moment to copy down your learning objective. Solve equations with variables on both sides. If you would also write a little rectangle up there in the top left-hand corner like I've done, and in that rectangle write down these three things. Write down number 1, simplify. Number 2, collect. And 3, solve. Then in the top left-hand corner, copy down this problem. As you're copying it down, you're going to notice that there is an x on both sides of the equation. We're going to talk about how to deal with that in a moment. The first thing I want you guys to do is to think about that number 1, that simplify up there, and take a look at each side of the equation. So for instance, let's just ignore this right side and look at the left side. 5x plus 5. We can't add the second 5 to the first 5 because it doesn't have an x. So the left side there is simplified. So we're good there. As we look over here at the right side, okay, we got 3x minus 5. Well, we can't subtract a 5 from 3x because the 5 doesn't have an x. My point is that both sides of the equation are simplified. Okay, so then we want to go to number 2. We want to look at collect. Okay, well, that means to get all your variables on the same side. So we have a choice here. We can either move all the variables to the left side or the right side of the equation. Okay, so let's discuss those two options. If I want to get rid of this 5x right here, it's a positive. So in order to get rid of it and put it on the other side, I would need to subtract it away. Okay, if I wanted to get rid of this 3x right here and move it over to the left side, it's a positive 3x. So I would end up subtracting that 3x. Both of these options will work, and they're correct mathematics. But I'm going to go ahead and choose to subtract the 3x from both sides, and I'll try to explain why as we go through the problem. Okay, so for your notes, we didn't do any simplification process, so we're not going to write down sim. But we are going to collect here in a moment. So what I want you guys to do is write a big C right there next to that side, and you're telling the reader, hey, look, I'm about to collect these variables. I'm about to get the variables on the same side. Okay, I'm going to choose to subtract 3x from both sides. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when I get done doing that, I'm going to end up with a positive coefficient over here with my x's. In other words, I'm going to end up with a positive 2x plus 5. I prefer to work with a positive coefficient over a negative coefficient. Okay, it just makes the problem a little bit easier. All right, once you collect your variables, you can see that what we basically have here is just a two-step equation. So now it's time to solve by adding and subtracting away first, and then multiplying and dividing away second. Okay, so subtract the 5 here from both sides. I end up with 2x equals negative 10. Then I want to divide away my 2 here. This was an action that I did on both sides of the equal sign. So I've got my action bar. And I end up with x equals negative 5. Okay? So I simplified, I collected, and then I should have put down here solve. Okay? So you're telling the reader when all of these things are taking place. Okay, let's try the same thing again over here on the right. Copy on that problem. With 6x minus 12 and 9x minus 21, I'm going to look over here on the left. I'm going to ignore the right side. I'm going to say, okay, 6x minus 12. Can I take away 12 from 6x? Well, no, I can't, because the 12 does not have an x. So the left side is simplified. Now let's take a look at the right. 21 taken away from 9x, well, same reason, that right side is simplified. So we don't need to write down simp. But we are going to collect these variables. So off to the side, I'm going to write down a big C. I'm going to say, look, Mr. Goethals, I'm about to collect these variables. All right, now I have a choice. I can either subtract the 6x from both sides to get all the x's over to the right, or I can subtract the 9x's from both sides to get all the x's over to the left. What I'm going to choose is to subtract that 6x. for the same reason that I subtracted the 3x in the first problem, so that I end up with a positive coefficient. Okay, so I have a minus 12 left over on the left side. I've got 3x minus 21 left over on the right side. I've collected my variables over to one side. Now it is time to solve. So look, reader, I'm going to be solving. Okay, add or subtract away first. Okay, tug of war here. 21 wins by 9. Okay, so x equals 3. All right, let's turn the heat up just a little bit, because what we didn't have to do on these two problems was to do some simplification at the beginning. But on these bottom ones, we will. So you're welcome. Okay, copied on this problem in the bottom left-hand corner. Now notice on the left side, we have 10x minus 6x plus 4. There are some like terms there. There's 10x and minus 6x. Those can be combined. So that left side is not simplified. Okay, so what I have here is 4x plus 4. Okay. Now you can't add a 4 to 4x because the normal 4 doesn't have an x, so that left side is now simplified. Let's take our attention to the right side. The right side has a little hippity-hoppity opportunity here, so I'll distribute the 2, and I end up with 6x minus 10. Here I can't subtract 10 from 6x because it doesn't have an x. Both sides are simplified, so I'll go ahead and put an equal sign there. Now I'm ready to do some of the other things. One more reminder. Since we simplified up here at the beginning, I'm going to write down simp, S-I-M-P, at the top, telling my reader, hey, I'm going to simplify before I begin to collect and solve. Okay, now let's collect. We have a 4x on the left, we're going to have a 6x on the right. So big C. I'm going to choose to subtract the 4x from both sides so that I end up with a positive coefficient. I did something on both sides of the equation, so there's my action bar. And what I got left over is a pretty tame two-step equation. And there we have it. Okay, one more. This might scare you a little bit, but it's okay. But this is basically as difficult as I can make it. We got some stuff on the left that needs to be taken care of. We got some stuff on the right that needs to be taken care of because each one of these guys are not simplified. Okay, so I might need a little bit extra room over here on the left. No sweat. Let's ignore that right side and just take care of the left side of the equation by simplifying. Okay, so notice here on the left side, we got a little hippity-hoppity here, and we also have a little minus 6x. That minus 6x is going to wait until we've done our multiplication. Then we'll be able to combine these like terms. Okay, so 15x minus 6x is 9x plus 9. This left side is now simplified. I'm going to mess with the right side and get it simplified, and then we'll begin to collect and solve. Oh, by the way, I'm simplifying up here, so I'm going to show the reader that by writing simp. Right side. I've got a hippity-hoppity here. I've also got a hippity-hoppity there. I've got to take care of those before I do my addition and subtraction. The one thing I'm really going to watch for to make sure I don't make a mistake is I got to make sure that I distribute that negative with the 5. Okay, so let's see here. 15x plus, big number, 72, minus 10x minus 15. Okay, I got some like terms here. The 15x's and the minus 10x. That gives me 5x. Then I've got the plus 72 minus 15, a little tug of war there. That's going to give me 57, I believe. Okay. We've simplified both sides of the equation. Now it's time to look and see if we can collect any variables. There is an x on each side, so I'm going to put a big C there for the reader to say, look, I'm about to collect my variables. My choice I'm going to make here is minus 5x on both sides, and that will leave me eventually with a positive 4x. So that's why I'm doing that. Okay. Once you've collected, now the most you should have left, if you simplified correctly and you collected your variables correctly, the most you should have left is a two-step solving here. Let's see what we got. $48, I believe. Divide by your 4. Bada bing. Okay. The majority of our problems like this will be like the first two, but I think that you guys should be able to simplify and then before you collect and then eventually solve. Okay. I've been asked to send a shout out to 8th period because they have swagger, which I believe can be treated through proper physical therapy. So good luck with that. I'll see you guys in class. Take care.